Hello and welcome to How to Stop the Scroll, the art of crafting 2-second brand messages that stop people. That's here for now. And we're live. And I'm so excited. It's a Saturday and it's busy and my kids are probably going to interrupt, but that's okay. I'm sure they will come in here. It's almost guaranteed. But I want to discuss how to create brand messages that connect and convey the right message to your ideal customers. This doesn't matter what audience or what kind of audience you have, who your target audience is, what type of product you sell, or where you're selling it from. Brand storytelling is a really powerful way of sharing and describing the emotions that you want your ideal customers to feel and connecting with them on an emotional level. So I'm really excited about this. It should be a good time. So let's jump in here and talk about. I'm going to tell you a story. This is a fun story. It's a story about me. I wanted to share this. I think it's perfect for this example. I believe in the power of transformation. I'm going to tell you a little bit about where I came from and what I learned and what I grew up with. So, I believe in the power of transformation, the kind that takes you from the depths of uncertainty and limitation to the heights of boundless possibilities. It's a journey I embarked upon when the world told me otherwise as a child. And today I want to share with you my story, a story of escaping the confines of my circumstances, of embracing my passions, and proving that with a burning desire to create, grow, and learn anything is possible. So this was me. Aren't I cute? Anyways, I grew up super poor and with a single mom in middle of Michigan. Actually, I'm from a town called Kalamazoo. It's where I was born. And Kalamazoo, Michigan, and my mother was a single mother. You can see us here sitting on a porch together. She was a great mom despite our circumstances. She always did a really good job of letting me know I was loved. And teaching me amazing things and to use what we have and do what we can. Even though we were poor, I would say I had a okay childhood. Like I learned a lot about art and creativity and love and using what we have and embracing the situation that we're in and doing the best that we can. We moved around a lot. As a single mom, it's hard to keep a job. People aren't very supportive of you when you have to move, or really supportive of you when you have children. Anyway, so this was me. I did end up after moving around and being homeless in a few times with my mom. I did end up graduating high school barely. I literally like when I say barely, like when I was growing up, there were times where we would eat ketchup sandwiches and I'd wash my underwear in the sink. And I did a really good job of hiding my current situation from everybody in my school. I actually wanted to ask people. I think my 20-year reunion is coming up. I've been thinking about going. It's in August. Anyway, long story short, I don't think that many people knew that I was super poor, like scraping by poor. And so in high school, I didn't really focus a lot on my studies. I just was trying to like live and breathe and eat, and my mom was just busy dealing with life, and so was I. And so I managed. I'll just share with you. I think I had a 1.9 GPA, and I barely squeaked by in high school. But I did know at a young age what it was that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a brand strategist. I wanted to work with brands and I wanted to build things. And I didn't know that from a child. I didn't know that's what it was. But I was building my own like snow sports lines and t-shirts and all these things in elementary and like pre-elementary. I taught myself to sew. My mom was very awesome about she's a creative herself, so I was surrounded by arts. But so anyways, I did go to high school and I did graduate high school with 1.9 GPA. I did attend a vocational school where I attended a trade school for visual communication. So I learned how to run a press. I learned about design and branding and the basics of it. I learned photography. I learned how to develop my own film. I learned all these amazing things. And I was doing that in high school. I actually designed my high school graduations and printed them on a Heidelberg press, which was cool. But anyway, so I knew what I wanted. I just didn't have the support and the background to like get there yet. So anyways, I did graduate high school. I was blessed to be taken in by a family after high school that taught me so many valuable things, taught me how to drive, taught me what it looked like to live in a normal home that was stable, and a lot of different things were happened in between now and this and college. So I did go to college. They helped me get into college, helped me apply for student loans, helped me do all these things. So I did get into college. I graduated from Ferris State University in Michigan, and it was a very competitive university. This is actually my graduating class. There was 14 of us, which is crazy when we started with 150 design students, and it's very competitive when I say that. But so I graduated from Ferris State University with 3.7 GPA, which is like unbelievable, because if you count from like how terrible I graduated, when I graduated from high school to graduating from university, a 4-year degree, it was very competitive. I knew what I wanted and I went after it. And it was really tough. I'm telling you, like, I literally, so many late nights, so many early mornings, so many difficult situations, not having the money to pay for rent, all those things. It was normal. Like, it just felt normal, felt like a continuation of my childhood. During college, I met my now husband, but he was my best friend then, and we got married shortly after I graduated high school, or graduated from school. A few years, like 3 or 4 years after. I worked at agencies. Before that, we got married, and he had 2 young children, and here they are. And I became a stepmom. I got thrown into that, which is really awesome, and I loved it. And before that, and after that, we shortly after, a few years later, had a baby. And as I was awaiting this baby, I kind of found myself at a crossroads from navigating the profound transition into motherhood. Like, it is hard when you're like about to have a baby. You're like, oh my gosh, my whole world's gonna change. How am I going to make an income? What am I going to do? Am I going to put them in daycare? What's that look like? Am I going to work for an agency? What am I going to do? How are they going to react to having a baby? Like all those things. But I knew that I wanted to do something. And so I yearned for something more than when I was a child, than that I had as a child. I wanted to give my child something completely different, a different experience. And so I wanted them to see me doing something. And little did I know that this pivotal moment, a short year, 9 months almost, would ignite a fire within me to pursue my creative passions and to help make a genuine difference, to encourage creatives to be here right now. I literally started this. My youngest is going to be 10 in February, which is crazy. So almost 10 years ago. And before the arrival of her, I had already experienced the challenges of agency life. I lived and worked at agencies. I literally did an agency stint after I had my daughter, that really led me into being a full-time stay-at-home mom and a business owner. I hated the routines, the restrictions, the lack of meaning. It left me craving more. I actually got yelled at a couple of times for being on time. Like, I can't even tell you. I hated too that when I worked for these bigger brands or these larger businesses, that I never got to see the results. I never got to see the growth. I never got to hear the stories about how the work that I did influenced their business or their employees. And I think that's super important. It's important to me anyway. So, armed with the determination and an unwavering belief in my abilities and God's, I took a leap of faith and ventured into the world of freelancing. And then I started Heather Bunker Branding Co. So, it wasn't an easy path. It was like so hard. I remember, being in the early days of motherhood and sitting at a desk, nursing a baby and talking on the phone, changing diapers during a client call. It was not easy, but I was determined to prove that being a mother didn't limit my potential. It actually fueled it. So I was doing the thing. Shortly after having my youngest, I just dived in. I have three now. I don't know if you know that, but this is my youngest. I had Owen, and then I had Cora, and recently, not 3 years ago, not that recent, 4. Now it'll be 4. She's almost 4. So I did the thing. I was balancing motherhood, a job, agency stuff, running my own agency, essentially growing creative businesses, and I had a huge garden, and I was a wife, and I had all these responsibilities, but I managed to do it all. Not easy. I faced countless obstacles. I had clients ask me, if you're a mom, how are you going to take care of my business? And I'm not. I obviously they weren't my ideal customer, but I definitely had my obstacles. People didn't see motherhood, stay-at-home moms as a professional or the ability to be professional. So I had a lot of obstacles, and I really struggled with it. I've limited myself so much the first 4 or 5 years of my business. The world literally whispered in my ear that it was impossible to be a good mom and to be a good business owner. And so I refused to accept that narrative, and I pushed through the doubts, the sleepless nights, and the balancing act, literally balancing act of changing diapers and deadlines. And, I discovered that being a kick ass mom and running a thriving business were not mutually exclusive. I could do both. There were rules that said I couldn't. I was interrupted all the time by posing pretty princesses and um, superheroes and all that fun stuff. See? This is my youngest, and this is me, I don't know, like 10 years ago, I feel like. Oh, she was 3 then. Your poses?
Yeah.
Your princess pose?
Yeah.
I thought you were posing like a pretty princess.
I'm posing.
You sure?
Look.
Oh, that's better.
That's what Harry doing like a princess.
And here I am. I'm on a meeting.
There's a problem with my watch.
With your what? With your watch? Oh,
When
yes.
I turn this around. This.
Yep. Can mommy finish this? Or you want to sit with me while I do it? You want to sit with me? Yeah. You got to be quiet.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm doing the thing. Here I am, still doing the thing. Oh, man. So through my journey, I realized that our current situations, they don't have to define us. And we have the power to escape, to grow beyond our circumstances if we dare to embrace our passions and pursue our dreams. See, it wasn't just about building a business.
Hello?
It was about redefining what's possible each day. So I continue to learn, grow, and evolve and love my kids and prove that with passion and dedication that we can create a life that transcends the limitations that are placed upon us. I love being a mom. I love my kids. I wanted to be home with them. He's so sweet. And so I just did it. I continued to do the thing, and I worked through it, and it wasn't easy. So I'm a testament, really. Who's that? Are those you? It's you. So I'm a testament to the transformative power of embracing your creative potential. And I urge you to listen to that burning desire within your heart, to break free from the confines of what society dictates, and to pursue your passions fearlessly. Remember, if I can escape the chains of my past and build a life of purpose and success, so can you.
Hi.
So together, let's unleash our creative spirits and rewrite the narrative of our lives. Just because somebody says you can or you can't do something doesn't mean that it's true. That was you. So this is where it's going to...
do the pool?
Yep, we're going to do it after this. Okay? So let's talk about the art of storytelling, Cora. Why stories?
Because it's fun and it's...
Can I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. Stories. Stories capture attention. Stories have the power to captivate and engage an audience or a 3-year-old. They draw people in. They create curiosity and help people become emotionally invested in your narrative. Stories build connection, and they have an ability to foster connection and empathy. When you share your personal, relatable...
They smell like
coconuts?
And they kissed you, that you smell like coconut.
Okay. When you share your personal or relatable story, it resonates with people who have had similar experiences or emotions. Storytelling also helps you share knowledge. Stories have been a fundamental way. For generations, thousands of years, we have been telling stories and sharing our knowledge and our culture and our values through our human history and storytelling. Stories convey complex ideas in a more accessible and memorable way. By weaving your message into a story, you make it easier for others to understand and remember the key points. Stories are inspiring and motivating, sharing stories of overcoming challenges, achieving success, or making a difference. You can inspire others to take similar actions or pursue their own aspirations. They make things memorable. They turn it into something that they'll actually remember.
Mommy.
I see she's telling a story. Storytelling can differentiate you and build powerful connections with your brand. Storytelling can be a powerful tool for differentiating yourself in any marketplace. A well crafted story can create a unique identity, evoke emotions, and leave lasting impressions on your audience. It helps you stand out in a crowded marketplace and fosters a deeper connection with your target audience. Why stories? Overall, storytelling is a powerful communication tool that engages, connects, and inspires. It helps you convey messages in a more impactful and memorable way, leaving a lasting impression on your audience and driving them to take action. So here are a few examples of brands that get it. Okay. All right, let's talk about Old Spice. Old Spice is a brand that my dad wore probably in the 1970s and 80s, but the brand itself goes way back to the 1930s. The founder of the Schultz Company, William Lightfoot Schultz, who manufactured the product, chose a nautical theme for the brand, and throughout the years, it's been used as a motif, and you'll see that in all of their modern stuff.
Mommy,
Yes.
can we go to the beach?
We can go. Oh, yes, I'd like to do that. Maybe.
Yay.
Probably not this weekend, next weekend. Sound good?
Okay.
Now owned by Procter & Gamble, the sailing ships may not be a central theme, but they're still present. You can see it in all of their elements. The challenge to Old Spice is staying relevant to a younger generation. This is where Weeden and Kennedy, an advertising company, big one. He created an ad. The Man Your Man Could Smell Like campaign comes into play. The basic premise is that the Old Spice will transform your man into the perfect man, but that Old Spice can make your man smell like a perfect man. Anything is possible when you smell like a man and not a lady.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell like. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamonds. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
Hey, so you get it. Why it works. Instead of reaching out to
That's
men,
funny, Mommy,
you're funny.
that's funny.
The Old Spice guy talks directly to the ladies. It's genius because it takes a brand that's associated with granddads, old people, makes it appealing to a modern generation. How does it do that? Well, it's well written, very quotable, and while it might inspire the perfect lifestyle, it certainly doesn't overpromise anything. It's inspired several spoofs, including Smell Like a Monster, featuring my favorite blue furry monster, Grover. Another one, Burt's Bees. The story of Burt's Bees began a long, long time ago when the founders, Roxanne, an artist, and Bert, a beekeeper, met. Their first venture was making beeswax candles, and they started with the mission that nature has the best answers. This mission hasn't changed to this day, despite the brand's global success and wide range of body care product offerings. So just like you, they started small. They were little, and they grew, okay? But why they grew is because they stayed true to their roots, living and breathing the philosophy that when you put on your body, goes into your body. So it should be made from the best that nature has to offer. This narrative is woven through their website, advertising, social media channels, and even on the products themselves. Hold on. You'll find stories about sustainability, recycling, energy efficiency, beekeeping outreach programs, and the about page of their website, for example. It all started with beeswax. Burt's Bees tells a story that many people can connect to, and they're open and transparent about their views. They show people how they're helping. Literally, they have a YouTube channel that does that, and they're about more than the bottom line. And this, in turn, means we buy into their philosophy and we buy their products.
Bye-bye, the product.
There's another fun one, Land Rover. This isn't really fun. It's really cool. Leveraging a strong company heritage and a lot of marketing dollars can be a powerful way to create a brand story. Land Rover did this for their 70th anniversary. Rather than telling a story from the company's point of view, they chose to tell it from the point of view of Land Rover's drivers, the people who were actually using their products, right? in a remote part of the Indian Himalayas.
Right.
A small village in the mountains contains an amazing 40 Land Rovers used by locals to traverse the treacherous road to the second village high in the mountains. And of course, they use Land Rovers because they are the most reliable, rugged vehicles around, even though they were made in 1957.
माने भन्ज्याङ चाहिँ भारत नेपाल सीमानाको एउटा अङ्ग हो
भन्ज्याङ भनेको चाहिँ अब मोड सबैतिरको बाटो आउने
This is not exactly a town, this is a small village, but out here we have around 40 Land Rovers.
Land Rover बुढो भनेको छ नि अब त्यो मान्छेभन्दा ज्यादा भएको एज भएको त छैन होला
अल टोटल मिलाएर अहिले हाम्रो त 42 वटा गाडी छ त्यही कारण माने भन्ज्याङ धेरै फेमस भएर गएको छ
And we feel so proud about it. Where people say, where do you belong to? We say, we belong to the place, we have Land Rovers.
यहाँबाट सन्दकपू देखाउनु पर्यो भने त यता देखाउनु पर्यो माथि माने भन्ज्याङमा ल्यान्ड रोभर इम्पोर्टिङ भएको चाहिँ किनभने माथि कच्चा रोड थियो अरू गाडी त्यो हुँदै नआउने
Road up to Sandakpur steep, I would say like this.
यहाँ बाटोको अलिकति त्यो अप्ठ्यारो भएकोले गर्दाखेरि
सन्दकपुर फालुट रोडमा अरू गाडीले त्यति तुलना नगर्दा पनि हुन्छ
To drive a Land Rover, you need little courage. You must be very confident. Driving on the bumpy roads are very tough, but you can get anywhere you want driving Land Rover. Now there are lots of cars. It comes with lots of complexity. But no, I like the simplicity of the oldest one, 1957 Land Rover. So it makes me very strong.
जुन चाहिँ यो ल्यान्ड रोभरको कम्युनिटीहरू छ हैन संस्था एकदम राम्रो छ जस्तै मौसम जस्तो बिग्रिँदा फेरि नि उहाँहरूले त्यस्तो मौसममा पनि हामीलाई ठिक जग्गामै यसरी अब एकदम सेफ्टी
After driving very tough roads, at last you see magnificent views of Himalayas. It's very spiritual and calming. Land Rover is so important to this community because everyone have a special emotion connected to the Land Rover. That's why they're still alive here. And it's unbreakable.
So in the video, the guy says that he's literally, it makes him stronger. And how much more powerful could you get than hearing your customers or your audience say that? So that's why it works. Land Rover could have created a great story for their 70th anniversary told from their own point of view, but the story surpasses that because it brings Land Rover to life in a very personal way. And it doesn't really overtly sell the brand. It's their customers are selling the brand. Using a customer story rather than your own story can create an emotional connection with your audience. In this case, between us and the drivers, we want to go there to see it ourselves almost. It's this amazing way that they have used storytelling to create connection with this community as well as with their cars. So, well, when you do it well, obviously storytelling clearly establishes your brand, what it's all about, its purpose, its core values, and its mission. Brand storytelling offers the consumer more than just a product or a service, but rather an experience that transcends mundane reality, just like Land Rover did. It's not just selling you a product, it's selling you strength and community and so much more. So storytelling also motivates the reader or viewer to step into that experience. This is done by crafting content in such a way that your audience feels as though they'd risk losing access to the somehow sublime experience of being a part of your brand if they don't buy, follow, or sign up right now.
Mommy, I want to put my swimming suit on though.
You do? Okay, go get your swimming suit on. Brand storytelling, it will boost your lead generation. It will help you sell. It's not a like negotiable. It will do that. Brand storytelling is super powerful. So, how to be a storyteller? Becoming an effective brand storyteller is a valuable skill. It's going to help you elevate your brand's message, engage your audience, and differentiate your business in a crowded marketplace. So, let's explore some practical steps that will help you craft compelling brand stories that leave a lasting impact. So, this is the start of a great brand message. This is how we're going to do it, okay? We're going to first define your brand identity. And if you haven't done this yet, find somebody like me or someone else who you trust that can help you clarify your brand's values, mission, and unique selling proposition. I call the unique selling proposition, what is it that makes you different? And you need to know these things before you can really truly create successful brand messages or tell stories. You need to also understand your target audience, their needs, desires, their aspirations, and you need to align your brand identity with the core elements that make your story authentic and relatable. So if I were to try and to share my story or my message with, I don't know, a medical industry, it wouldn't really fit right. And so you have to be able to know who your people are, know who you are as a brand, and then align your brand identity with the core elements that make you real and relatable with your audience. It'd be weird if I tried to sell my services to the medical industry. There would be no way that I could do that authentically and relatably. There wouldn't be anything to do that. So then you have to identify your core narrative. You have to determine the central message or theme that drives your brand story. So for example, the story that I told earlier, the central message was that I believe that anybody can do it, and it doesn't matter where you come from or what current confines you're in. You can defeat that. You can overcome the situation that you're in to become whatever it is that you put your mind to. I really do believe that our situation does not determine what we become. So you have to use that central message or theme and drive your brand story. So, and then craft a compelling story that resonates with your audience and aligns with your actual brand identity. So your brand values, your mission, all that stuff should actually make sense or resonate with your audience. Define the key characters, conflict, and resolution that will captivate your audience and leave a lasting impression. It's really important to kind of think about your story in terms of what characters are you going to invite, the conflict, whatever you're going to overcome, and then the resolution. How did you do it? Embrace authenticity and emotion. I'm one of those kinds of people that I'm a really transparent person. I mean, my kids be here. I'll tell you the story. I will share with you the fights that we have or the conflicts that we, or just being straight up how hard it is being a mom. So you have to have genuine and relatable stories that are actually going to connect with your audience and be transparent and authentic about them. Allow your audience to connect with you and the real people behind you and your brand. Use storytelling techniques like imagery, sensory details, video, personal anecdotes to create an emotional impact. I wish I had video from when I was a child, but we didn't really have cameras, and my mom we never had enough money to have like a old school camera recorder, which would have been so fun, but I didn't have any of those. So I used what I had, and I had pictures, so I shared those. And then craft engaging storytelling format. So it depends too on where you're going to be telling the story, right? Choose the right storytelling formats for your brand, such as blog posts, videos, social media campaigns, podcasts, or for example, you're here with me and I'm trying to teach you about storytelling. So in that case, that's what I could do is share some video or share some photos with you. And then you tailor your storytelling to suit different platforms and mediums while maintaining a consistent brand voice. Experiment with various storytelling techniques like testimonials, case studies, Like Land Rover, they use their audience, right? And they created user-generated content to keep their audience engaged. So like there's so many different ways that you can tell stories. But when your audience does it for you, it's so much more powerful. Also, incorporate visuals and multimedia. Video is huge. I mean, as you can see, the stories where I actually had video to share with you were probably the most compelling and interesting things that I could have shown today. High quality video, high quality images, infographics, even just you sharing your own story in front of a camera is still going to be more powerful than a static image. But multimedia elements can create a real connection and impact with your community, and it strengthens the impact of your brand story too. And so when you're doing this, though, ensure that your visuals align with your brand identity and enhance the narrative rather than overshadow it. Foster interaction and engagement. Make sure that your audience encourage them to interact with you. Polls, surveys, user-generated content, even just connecting with them on social media is one way to foster interaction and engagement. Respond to comments and messages and feedback to create a sense of community and build relationships with your audience. And continuously adapt and evolve your brand story based on audience insights and feedback. Your community is going to tell you what they think, and they're going to tell you actually a lot. Like I always encourage my clients to continuously be seeking their audience's feedback, be asking questions, and encourage them to share with you what they feel your brand is, because I think that's a big part of it is knowing what they think. Okay, so I really do feel like becoming a brand storyteller isn't that hard. It's really just a combination of creativity and authenticity and audience understanding. So if you can do those three things, first I would say audience understanding, authenticity, and creativity, you're going to be able to come up with some really awesome brand messages. By defining your brand identity, crafting compelling narratives, and engaging your audience through various formats, you can harness the power of storytelling to create meaningful connections and drive your brand success. Embrace your unique story. Don't be afraid to tell your story. Like people always ask me, like, I love how confident you are in telling your story. And I think that's so funny because telling my story and literally sharing with you that I used to wash my underwear in the sink and I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment and my mom literally lived in the kitchen, or telling you about our experiences with Christmas, and using what I loved this story. Actually, I could tell you this story, but telling you these stories isn't embarrassing to me because it is what I experienced. It's where I come from and I've overcome it. So embracing your story is going to only make you a stronger person, but also build this deep emotional connection with people. And that is, I believe, the most powerful thing that you could have as a brand, is to connect with people and to create insight change in the world. So remember, it's not always going to be perfect. I'm still learning how to tell effective stories. I'm still doing the best that I can with what I have. And that's really all it is starting somewhere and just keep trying. Learn from your experiences. Try again, create a story and try it again, and continuously refine your storytelling skills. Happy storytelling. But I wanted to ask you some questions, but there's nobody here today, which is so funny. And actually, that's okay. It's all about trying things out, right? But I want to just encourage you guys as you're going through this. If you guys need help, I have a really handy guide that can help you with some storytelling. But I want you to just remember that you just need to know what the goal is of the story, know who you're talking to, and come up with some creative way of telling that story. It can be through the eyes of your audience. It can be through the eyes of your customers. It can be through your children's eyes, which is something that I've thought about doing too. Because realistically, I'm sure my kids are like, man, mom works so much. But I'm not really working that much. But in their eyes, I'm sure they think that. So, but anyways, I hope you have a beautiful Saturday. I'm going to go swim with my kids while I have the time and get ready for the next week. Happy Saturday, y'all. Have a blessed day.